Welcome to Who You Were with Patrick Noth and Sebastian Canelli. In each episode, we ask our guests to talk about a time in their life when they were significantly different.
Sit in the front row?
I always sit in the front row. Best seat in the house.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whenever I go and see a play or see a show, I'm like, sit in the front row.
Try to get that front row.
Even Broadway
yeah.
plays?
I don't see a lot of Broadway, and I usually get the cheap seats.
Sure,
for that
yes.
Yeah.
But like, if I have my preference, I like to be as close to the action as I can.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
that makes sense.
sat in the front row of a Broadway play once, but I noticed the guy kept spitting
Oh,
when they sang. That's why I ask.
right. That would be a hazard.
Yes, it wasn't. It
What show
took me
is
out
this?
of it. This was Jane Eyre.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Can you believe I've seen that
see
shit?
Jane Eyre as a spitty show, but I guess.
I guess.
No, the
Yeah.
guy was singing a lot.
Yeah.
I thought it was Spit Time with Saliva Dan. Oh my God, I'm fucking off to a start here. So actually, it wasn't recording all that fun stuff when we were making fun of you, Sebastian.
Oh, was it?
No.
No, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
See? The God intervened. The gods of text are on my
We'll
side.
relive your humiliation
Oh my God.
at a
how-
later time.
Yeah, we'll try to make it organic.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, welcome to Who You Were. My name is Patrick Noth.
Hey, I'm Sebastian Canelli.
And we have a great friend of mine. I'm so excited to have you. Actually, I'm just also excited to hang out with you because
Yeah.
I feel like it's been way too long.
Yeah.
Let's make some noise for Georgia Clark.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk about how you want to be credited? Because there's a litany of things that you have done.
You, however you like. I don't really care.
Georgia Clark, published author.
That's correct.
Name your books. 2 books.
Actually, 4 books,
Fucking
Patrick.
hell.
But that's
Even I knew that
top
now.
advanced work there.
Holy shit. Oh
Two,
my God,
two
I
young
suck.
adult novels, 2 general fiction novels. The last 2 ones were The Bucket List and The Regulars, and I just sold my 3rd book.
Wait,
which
what
I'm
were the 2
excited
book titles called?
The Bucket List and The Regulars.
The Bucket List
Those
and the
are
Regulars.
the 2 that I
Awesome.
knew. I knew
Yeah.
those 2.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And you just sold your 3rd book
I
option.
did, yeah. I
Yeah,
just
that's
sold my
fucking
3rd one.
awesome.
And what's
Yeah.
it called?
The 3rd one, no one likes the title of it, so
Well, wait. Pitch it to me. I'll tell you if I fucking like it.
Okay, so
Okay.
the 3rd book is a comedy about a sort of practical Brooklyn mom who is forced to run her failing wedding planning business with her dead ex-husband's one-time girlfriend, a bubbly Southern girl called Savannah.
Okay.
And
Can we guess?
Please.
Can we guess?
Let's brainstorm some titles, some wedding puns.
Well, because people.
Georgia Screech.
Let's keep going.
Okay, not too good. Not too good.
How about Southern Comfort?
Oh,
that's pretty good.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
They
Yep.
booze it up a lot in it.
Yeah. Jude, the Brooklyn mom, is a big drinker.
Big boozer.
Yeah.
You want to do another guess, or should we just get it?
Sure. I'll say The Odd Couple, Wedding Planners.
Look, it's probably going to end up being something like that.
How about Here Comes the Pride?
Oh, yeah.
Why? I don't get the pride part.
Just because she has to fucking swallow her pride to work with this.
Yes, we need a parentheses underneath to explain that part. I'm on board with that title.
Just
She's
long
got to
subtitle.
fucking swallow her pride.
A very long subtitle. Can we? All right, let's get it. What is it?
So I sold it with the name of the wedding planning business, which is Better Wed Than Dead. Which I
That's
thought
not
was like
bad.
a cool idea, but then
Yeah.
my agent's like, it sounds like a murder mystery. It sounds like a wedding planner who solves murder mysteries. No. And I'm like, I get that. So,
Yeah. I guess titles to books are important, huh?
yes, they are.
So what comes first, the title or the book?
The book.
The book.
book.
These are good questions. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
What if you came up with such a good title that you're like, I gotta write around this title? Would that ever happen? Like, say, Southern Comfort, for example.
Yeah.
I think you should write Southern Comfort.
All right.
Patrick.
Sugary liquor.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but obviously the book comes first.
Because they can change the title. So,
Oh, okay, yes.
you can sell it with a title, and that's basically a suggestion. And then your publisher and the marketing team and everyone kind of will sign off on it. And they often will change the title. And they'll change it as well for different territories. So, like
Yeah.
different countries.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh yeah, so the title of the book is
Better Better
new
Wed
book.
Than Dead.
Better Wed Than Dead.
And they're going to change it. You think they're going to change it?
They will definitely change it.
They're definitely going to change it because
Yeah.
they think it's a murder. It sounds like a murder mystery.
That's right. Yeah.
Did you think at all about? Oh, you just sold a show too, right?
So The Regulars, which was my first book, was optioned for a television show, and we're in development for that.
God. That's amazing.
And so we don't have like, it's not a series order or a pilot
Sure.
order. So we have this, we're just sort of finishing the script, and then we hope that we get green.
Sure. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was a really fun process of adapting the book. Some authors really like doing that work. Some authors are just like, I want nothing to do with it. Take it away.
Right.
I'll come and see it when it's done.
Right.
But I really liked that whole process and working with a co-writer, and it was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And so you helped adapt it.
I did. Yeah, I co-wrote it.
Did
Yeah.
you learn? Oh, you co-wrote it. So
Yeah.
did you learn? I mean, obviously you've written scripts before for
Mm-hmm.
TV and stuff like that. But was it helpful to have somebody who like has done a bunch? I'm
Yeah.
sure they paired you up with someone who's done like a shit ton.
Yeah, a much
Yeah.
more experienced co-writer, and she definitely helped me sort of just take the book and like just things like timing, because, and this is sort of something that our execs told us as well, is like, the concept of the book is very simple. A one-line premise is these 3 young women living in Brooklyn get their hands on something called Pretty, which turns you into your ideal physical self for 1 week at a time. So it has like a sort of a magic realist premise.
Yeah.
And as they said, like, all of the marketing will sell the premise. So people are going to watch the show knowing that they're going to see these girls find this serum and turn into hotties.
Yes.
So that has to happen by the end of Act 1. And in the first draft, it happened like kind of halfway through, and they're like way sooner because,
Sure.
when you watch a new show and you're like, this
All
is going to be
right.
about a murder
Yeah.
solved, so let's get that murder happening.
Yes.
So just things like that, and just how to show longer scenes in visual language, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, this is David Simon, and then you're just fucking waiting and waiting and waiting, and then finally someone at the docks has a baby or something like that.
Who's David Simon?
What?
He's
the hell?
The Wire, and he did.
Oh, okay.
What is the show that's like about the 70s prostitutes on HBO?
The Juice?
No, it's
It's
this is
it
an
sounds like that.
awesome.
This is great when
awesome
we're trying to think of a
content.
name of something. But I think he does that too, and that shit is. It took so long. It's just like slow character development, and it's good, but it's like. Also, that one had a lot of stuff that I was like, oh, this is too sad.
Really?
Yeah.
It was too sad for me to watch. I just don't like. It's just sad.
The 70s make you feel sad?
The 70s make me feel sad. Funk music makes me really sad. Disco fucking destroys me.
Yeah. I've seen you weeping at like a roller derby
Oh, yeah.
disco.
Every time they play that funky music, White Boy, I'm just fucking I'm
Yeah.
just bawling.
It's just too much for me.
Sebastian, can I tell you something funny? When I met Georgia,
I know. I already know what this story's
yes,
going to be.
it's okay.
So you were on an improv team together. Let's get that out
We
of the way.
were on
yes?
an improv team together for approximately 75 years.
yes,
called
Dreamboat. Called Dreamboat.
We had a weekly show for 70 of those years.
And that's where I probably met you when I did one of the shows. Stephanie.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was a
Under
little
St.
boy
Mark-
then.
Where did you do it?
No, at
Under St. Mark's?
No,
Players?
No, at
Oh,
Richmond
Uptown?
Shepherd.
Oh, no, that's
okay.
Gadget, but
No, I must have done then.
probably
I must
Under
have
St.
done-
Mark's
yeah.
or what Pit Loft. We moved
Pit Loft,
around.
yeah.
I
And
forget
we moved
where.
around. We toured the world.
We did.
No, but since we were very funny when we were just getting out of 201, and everybody on the team was a comedy legend, we used to constantly like. Georgia would say a specific that we were unfamiliar with because she was from Australia, and we'd be like, ha 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 ha, and then we'd like make fun of her because we're, I don't know, good friends.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then one time Georgia said, so there were all these terms that we were getting. And one time Georgia goes, yeah, well, Netflix in Australia is called Kookaburra Central. And I was like, holy shit. And I told 150 people
Oh,
this
no.
fact. And
Oh,
then like
no.
2 years later, Georgia's like, absolutely not. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you how many people I told. Netflix in Australia is called Kookaburra Central, which, by the way, it's probably called Netflix.
Well, we did not have Netflix in
Sure.
Australia. We're kind of like a little backwards country, so we definitely didn't get Netflix until about 3 seconds ago. But yeah, I remember telling you guys that we were on the subway. I still remember telling you that because you guys were so taken by that fact. And I kind of realized, when you're like, oh, it's a bit too far because you're so into this idea and you don't see it's a joke. I was joking and you were like, really? Wow, that's amazing.
Right.
And then I think everyone on that team dispersed that information in delight,
Wow.
and it was definitely untrue.
But that's kind of what we get, though, because we thought it was so funny that you like said things that we weren't familiar with. Like that's the level we were at. Sort
Yeah.
of. It's just like, oh, this is a new. Like, what did you call at one point you called like a carnival something?
Oh, like we used to call them a pool. Oh, I feel like I remember this.
Maybe
We had school carnivals.
or circus. Maybe it was called like a jolly swirl or something. I'm still doing it. I still got it.
That's insane.
So, did you think about the premise of the show? Did you think about a time you wanted to talk about?
I did, yeah. I've got a story to tell you.
Awesome. All right, yeah. Let's do it.
All right, so I'm going to take you back in time, not to the 70s, so don't worry.
Okay,
Thank
thank God.
goodness.
Yeah.
I hate when Patrick cries.
Yeah.
When he wants to fuck at me. He goes, "Can you stay over tonight?" He goes, "Hug me as I cry myself to sleep." I go, "Bro, grow up."
Fucking bad friend, right?
So this story takes place when I was my early 20s in Sydney, and I became the editor of a music magazine called The Brag. And at that time in Sydney, we had like 3 weekly street press magazines that were supported by advertising. So this is before the internet. Australia did not have like broadband internet in like the mid 2000s.
Mid 2000s. Well, you don't have to answer this, but can I ask how old you were? And this
This was in 2004, and I was like 24. I'm 38 now.
Cool.
And I became the editor of a weekly music street press magazine. And it looks kind of like the Village Voice. And because Sydney had a very healthy music scene. Lots of bands, Australians like going out and seeing bands.
You're the editor at 24. Okay.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Which is
Sydney,
very much
that's
a
amazing.
Australian thing. Like Sydney is kind of like a big small town, so you can definitely be a big fish in a small pond.
Okay.
And
I thought you were going to say young editors, like young CEOs are a thing in Australia.
No, it's seriously true. Like I sort of go back home and all of my friends' careers are like they're like attorneys or they're running all these corporations because it's just not as many people there. So there's just not as much competition.
So they're like,
for
you
jobs.
can be the mayor. Or
Basically,
whatever. Yeah.
I mean,
I
not
have
even
a question
kidding.
about this. So what city is it comparable to?
So at that time, Sydney had about 2 million people, quite a large like geographic area,
Yes.
and less than 1 million in what we'd call the city. So
Boston's that size.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Boston's
Cool. Thank you.
less than 1 million metro, I think, even, but there's like 2 million, maybe more.
Perfect.
As it spreads out.
Great
and they also
comparison.
all talk like Australians.
that's right. Yeah, they ride kangaroos to work like Australians do.
Yes.
So
I knew it. She said it. We got her. All right. Thank you for being on. This is fucking awesome.
great to be here.
This is great.
Thanks,
we got
guys.
what we wanted.
You see yourself out on that bouncing kangaroo. And so I didn't really know anything about music when I first started. I definitely did not really know anything. I could probably name 5 bands. 2 of them were like All Dead or whatever. And the job required you to be very knowledgeable about the local music scene.
Sure.
So, and know how to edit a weekly publication. So it was sort of one of those things where I was thrown in the deep end and it was this huge learning curve, and I kind of went from being like pretty clueless about music to slowly becoming very knowledgeable about music. I was going out and seeing bands all the time. I was becoming friends with bands. I was single and in my 20s, and all I wanted to do was go out, and I was on the door for every gig in town. It was really like such a fun time.
Sure. What music were you into?
I was really into like indie. This was like Franz Ferdinand was this kind of like when they were coming out, like White Stripes and the Killers and all of these kind of bands.
The Killers.
Like Fiery Furnaces, like lots of kind of, I was like into indie pop and like indie rock was my thing. There was like a dance section with more electronic music, but there was another editor for that, and I kind of edited the whole thing, which included all of like essentially under rock music.
Right.
But
not classic rock though, right? Because that's from the 70s.
Non-classic
Okay,
rock.
cool. Okay, let's move on.
So as the sort of time went on, at first it was really fun and just a challenge to learn how to edit the magazine, but I always sort of wanted to be a creative. I'm working as a writer now, and as the kind of time went on, I started to become kind of jealous of the bands that were in the magazine. And in order to sort of spice up the content of the magazine a little bit more, me and the dance editor decided to create a fake band and start to champion this fake band in the magazine.
Wow.
So the band was called...
This is like The Wire. This is like the last season of The Wire, David Simon.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm plugging The Wire a lot on this episode.
So you created a fake band.
Sebastian's
fake
just angry at
band.
me.
No, I'm not angry at you. What you just said means nothing compared to the truth that she just said.
I know.
She's editing a newspaper, a magazine, excuse me, and she literally made up a band and put it. Imagine Rolling Stones was like, oh yeah.
No, that is the literal premise of The Wire. Like, the literal premise of the last season of The Wire is they make up something for the newspaper so that they can get... Okay,
so they could get drug dealers. Hers was just...
No. So they can get funding. So they can get funding.
So what did they make up again?
They made up that there was a serial killer.
So that's a much different...
I don't know. So let's hear the fucking story.
The band was called Dead Girls.
Wow.
Really, it really is The Wire.
Oh my God. Dead Girl.
Dead Girls.
And did you make this name up?
I did make the name up.
And you said I need dead twice.
Yeah. Which was like very much like a kind of like a piss take, as we would say in Australia, on like all of these like impossibly cool bands. So me and the dance editor put on like wigs and sunglasses and we did a photo shoot and we took photos of ourselves as the Dead Girls and then made up this ridiculous backstory that we were like a brother-sister duo and we'd met in an orphanage and that we'd like blagged our way onto like Tokyo Fashion Week and we'd done...
all knew this secret?
So just the staff of the magazine.
Shit.
And so we would like pepper in to the magazine over a series of months, like album reviews and gossip about the band and like interviews with the band. And it was like this, like we were always like starting fights with other bands. And
you said you had a backstory where you were both orphans and you met and you're like a brother-sister duo.
we were brother-sister duo, like the White Stripes kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Because
So-
they kind of lied about that.
What else? Like where were you orphans?
We met in an orphanage. It was definitely like in a foreign place. I did bring in my little scrapbook with all the clippings.
Oh my God,
that's amazing.
And so we sort of we like brought this band to life, right? Mm-hmm. But then I started to get kind of jealous of the Dead Girls.
Wow.
Because the Dead Girls
Fucking awesome.
were having way more fun than I was. So I decided to start the Dead Girls for real.
Oh my God.
So I got two of my friends, Peter and Beck, and was like, do you want to become the band? And they were like, yes. So we started a band. We started the Dead Girls for real.
Yeah.
We used their names that we'd created and the kind of music that we had fake reviewed.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And my friend Peter taught himself how to write electronic music. And we started to rehearse and put together a show.
And he had never produced before.
No, he had never produced before.
This is crazy.
And you
Yeah.
were still in the band.
I was 100% in the band.
Oh my God.
What was your
So
role?
this is why I asked what comes first, the book or the title? Because in this case, the title
came first.
Wow. That was good.
Can you believe that?
That was good.
Wow.
Good.
Mysteries.
No, but and then in The Wire, there was a guy. There was a guy who started actually murdering people with the
Really?
formula. Absolutely. This is fucking locked in. We're right on track.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is fucking crazy.
So
What did you do in the band?
So I sang in the band.
Can you sing?
I cannot sing.
Oh my God.
I cannot sing. I am basically tone deaf. So we sang and we danced. We sort of did formation dancing. And we dressed in these very cool, sexy outfits. And because I was the editor of the magazine, I knew a lot of bands. I knew them socially and personally. And so I just sort of asked them, could we jump up and do a song or two before you start? And I sort of didn't really realize at the time, like, how much, like they were being asked this favor by the editor of a magazine that is in their interest to kind of be friendly with.
Right.
So
Yes.
I don't know how much they were just kind of saying yes to be nice versus saying yes to kind of for political reasons, but they all said yes. And so we started doing shows.
Were any of them like, wait, you're in the Dead Girls?
Yes,
And-
yeah,
Or were they
yeah.
like, and they're like, you guys got so much press and you're the Dead Girls?
I think they got it worked out pretty quickly that it was like what was going on. Like
And
that.
you guys just did it for fun at first, right?
Yeah, we just did it for fun at first. So we I remember going in and booking a rehearsal studio that where all of our friends' bands were playing and like running into them. And it was just the coolest thing that had ever happened to me was like seeing my friend and like being able to say, I got to go to band practice is like the coolest sentence that you can, in my opinion, ever say. Like, I got to go to band practice.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I got to go to band practice.
Well, it's only cool if you're fucking in a big band.
Or a tiny band that no
Not
one's
like
heard of.
marching band, though. You can't do it for marching
No.
band.
It's going to be like a rock band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be a rock band.
So,
or a funk band in Milwaukee.
yeah.
That's what you were in?
Yeah, I was in a funk band in Milwaukee called Booty Snoot, and we were fucking...
I'm sorry, what was that name?
It was called Booty Snoot, and there was a magazine called the Shepherd Express, which was like the Village Voice, and we won Best Rap Funk Band when I was like 16 or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
Just like in The Wire.
That's
Booty Snoot?
Booty Snoot.
Booty Snoot. That was a character in one of the later seasons of The Wire, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, he's hilarious. He moonwalked all the time.
Yeah, he sold drugs and moonwalk. Yeah.
Hey, not the worst person to buy drugs from, I'll tell you that.
It was right. It was always really entertaining.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Fantastic.
So you're at... So what do you do when you go on stage and you cannot sing?
I used to sing in like a sort of like either a speak song thing or like a thick European accent because we were apparently a European band. We were sort of from indeterminate, origins.
Europe.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Europe.
Just not Australia.
Just not Australia. Yeah.
Wow. And so you're saying that you throw in a thick European accent.
That covers a lot.
And
It's
people
very
are
forgiving.
just like, okay.
Yeah.
So you think if I went to Australia, if I just talked like this, everyone would be on board with me singing?
100%. Yeah. Accents, come on, accents, do well for you.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
I actually now I'm like curious because I'm about to go to Australia
Yes,
in
you
a
are.
couple
That's
days.
right.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to. I was thinking about because I'm basically breaking even on the trip. Like it's not a lot of money, but I was like maybe if I could like freestyle rap and busk.
that I mean, that I'm obsessed with your freestyling. You're such a talented freestyler.
Well, thank you very much.
And I think that would do really well in Australia.
Oh man, I'm very excited.
Is it big busking culture?
I mean, I think that people are definitely like familiar with seeing it. Like they're not going to be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I just think you're so good at it.
Thank you.
So
There's also, anyway, I'm just thinking about, I'm like trying to figure out different ways to make money, and I could freelance and do what I normally do,
Yeah.
or I could just rap on the street in Australia.
well, just why not? You should try it at least.
Yeah,
give it a
you
shot.
should just rap on the street.
In
I
Australia.
think that would be dope. I mean, imagine if I could make money doing that.
Dude, that's 100% what you should do.
Isn't that's a pretty...
100, you're going away to get away from this shit. You should 100% do something different.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I used to do that for a long time.
I know.
In Times
Did
Square.
you make good money doing that?
Well, no, I didn't. I
No,
mean, I
he
was,
made shit.
I was working for the ride. I was working for the ride. So actually,
when
at
you
first,
worked
I
for
didn't
the
make bad
ride.
money. This is called
you
Who
wasted
You
it
Were.
all.
It's about Patrick at the ride.
He wasted it all. This dude was nuts with his money.
Yeah, I was. That was a bad time.
Yeah.
But now think about that money.
No, I know. Fucking Australia. And what do they call the money in Australia?
Dollars?
Dollars.
It's the same thing?
Yeah.
Does it look the same?
No.
Does
That's
it have George
confusing.
Washington at all?
No. It has Australian animals on it. And Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, that's awesome. It
Yeah.
has, that's a much better thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one will be fighting in America if they just fucking threw
Put some, put
eagle
some
on that.
emus and kangaroos and little
we should.
echidna.
America should have Australian animals on our money.
Can you imagine? People would lose
People
their
would
minds.
fucking die for
Yeah,
it.
they
I know.
would.
Little koala.
They really would.
Oh my god! Throw a little powdered wig on a koala.
That's adorable.
That is cute.
Cutest thing I've ever
You
heard.
ever touch a koala?
Assuming that's not a euphemism,
That's
don't
not a euphemism.
know if I actually have touched a koala.
You don't know if you have.
Maybe when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Not in recent memory.
Well, it's like I've never been to the Statue of Liberty. You've never.
You've never
touched-
been to the Statue of Liberty?
No, I've never gone up on the Statue of Liberty.
Have you?
Yeah. Yeah, when I was a kid.
Yeah. See, all
Yeah,
these things
same
happen.
thing.
If they don't happen when you're a kid, they're not going to happen when you're an adult. We're too busy watching Netflix and The Wire. So.
Of course.
Yeah, that's true.
Booba Chew. What was that called?
Booty snoot.
Booty. No, the Netflix.
Boobachu was very close. Kookaburra Central.
Kookaburra Central.
Which is like literally the equivalent of how stupid my band's name was.
Yeah.
Wait. So you're fucking killing it. You're on stage.
Look, I did bring some music.
Oh my God.
Do you want me to sing some Dead Girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. I think I can just play it on my laptop and it might.
I love it.
Should I try this?
Yes, this is actually unbelievable.
This is
Also,
so
I
fucking
love your
cool.
laptop cover.
Oh yeah, that's really cool.
It's new. I got it for Christmas. Thanks, Lindsay.
Whoa, thanks, Lindsay.
Thanks, Lindsay.
I'll play one of our. We made a demo with a good producer who I was friends with and kind of thought the whole thing was pretty funny, and so he helped us sort of produce some of the music. But this is all original Dead Girls.
Okay.
This is amazing.
Lyrics.
And he's produced other bands before.
Yeah, he produced other bands before.
Fuck yeah.
I'll tell you, it's sort of, it kind of ended in a as these things do, but I'll give you a taste of some of our,
You got addicted to heroin.
Sure.
You were
Yeah.
found almost dead in a hotel.
This guy moonwalking away from me. All right, are you ready?
I have no idea what to expect.
I'm so
I have no
fucking
idea if
excited.
this is going to be
Georgia,
great
I'm so
or
excited.
horrible.
How did I never know this? This is crazy.
Okay. I'll sing.
You're going to sing?
Yeah. Get down on the floor. You're always wanting more. Make it rough, make it raw. Let's do it till we're feeling sore. Oh boy, you look so sweet, and seeing you is such a treat. Come on and move your feet. Let's go stain the sheets. Push it till you scare me. Then we'll really feel free.
Oh my God! Georgia, this is crazy.
Oh my God.
A lot of lyrics about sex I wasn't having. There was it was very
Stain the sheets. What was the
very
other line?
sexual.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That was
do
another
it till
one.
we're raw.
yeah. Like I
Oh
was
my God.
I was not
That was
doing
awesome.
it till I was raw. But
Awesome.
that was kind of
And you were fucking the front man over there.
Well, we all sang. All three of us sang and all three of us danced.
Wow.
Yeah, we did like formation dancing, and if I play more of it, then you'll hear the others sing as well.
Were all the songs so sexually aggressive?
We did a cover of Closer by Nine Inch Nails, sexually aggressive song.
Yes.
But not all of them, no.
Cool.
No.
And you wrote young adult novels right after this.
I was writing it around the same
At the same time?
Yeah, there was just separate worlds.
Sure, it's good.
There was no staining the sheets in those books,
No,
if you know what I mean.
You have compartmentalized. Like here's the raw sex.
Yeah.
and here's the friendly dragon that tickles you and marshmallows fall out of your mouth. I get. I do the same shit.
Young adult is mostly friendly dragons who tickle you with marshmallows in their mouth.
Yeah, they tickle you. They go to breathe. They go, oh, I got a marshmallow. And they go, oh, I love a juicy marshmallow. And then they burn the marshmallow. They go, oh, I wish I could have eaten it.
That's what teens were after. That's what teens want to read about.
By the end of the novel, he's making s'mores for the kids.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize how young. I was thinking young adults, but I guess young adult for me, I was thinking children.
Right, that's a great idea for a kids book series.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wish I was able to write.
You could definitely do it. It's short.
Oh my God, this is amazing. So wait,
That was amazing. That was our first performance ever.
Oh,
on the
Yes.
show.
Wow, good.
this is fucking incredible. So you and I were both rappers basically before we moved to New York.
You flatter me, Patrick. I definitely wasn't a rapper. We weren't very musically talented, and I say that, kindly. I think like the guy, Peter, my friend Peter, he really he wrote all the music and then
Did you
so
write
it was
those lyrics though, or did you collaborate?
we all wrote the lyrics. So it was
Fuck
me,
yeah.
Peter, who was like a hard worker and who's a smart guy, and he was kind of into it, and I'm into it as well, because if I get into a project, like I just become like a little work robot and
Yes.
we'll just go through with it. But the sort of wild card was my friend Beck, who was the third member of the group. And so I feel like everyone's had a friend like her. She is the one who is like a firecracker. Like she's so fun and almost feels like dangerous to be around and is so unreliable.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
we were meant to go traveling in Southeast Asia together. We were meant to go meet in Vietnam, and she had kind of left a little bit before me. So we were meant to be meeting in Hanoi. Like I was flying flying into Hanoi to meet with her, and we were going to travel together for 2 months.
Yeah.
And the night before I took off, she called me and was like, hey, babe, I met this really great guy and I'm in Mongolia. So why don't you come to Mongolia instead? And I'm like,
God.
I'm flying into Hanoi tomorrow to do a prepared 2-month trip in Vietnam and Cambodia. So no, I'm not going to Mongolia.
Sure.
And she just completely ditched me. Like, and I just did that trip like on my own.
For 2
Holy
months?
shit.
Yeah, for 2 months. So that was the kind of person she was. And
I have flaky friends, but I don't think I have anyone that would abandon me in Hanoi.
Yeah. And
a
like, and I
2-month
was
trip.
like 25 or something. So it was fine. And I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm almost surprised that I thought it was going to happen because that was just what she was like. And so being in a band was like she was just always late. She didn't really want to do the work. She kind of fixated on more how she looked than what was sort of going on. And at first that was kind of fun because it was sort of like a joke. But then we really started to get into it and we're like, well, if we want to do this seriously, like we have to make a demo, we have to rehearse, like we have to do all this shit.
Sure,
and
yeah.
she just kind of wasn't really showing out for it. So in the end,
This is me.
Well,
in
can I
my
also-
band.
no, is it?
Can I also... That was you? You were fuck up?
I was such a fuck up. I wrote like 4 songs, and then from then on, I just freestyled. I was like, they were like, "Oh, we got this new song," and I was like, "Great, I got it." I just wouldn't write the song and just go up on stage and freestyle.
Really?
Yeah, it was fucking insane. But it wasn't like I was drunk out of my mind. I was 16 years old, and I had a little, probably like, "Oh, everybody go rap," so it was like not a good look. But people liked it. I don't know, whatever.
What was this woman's name?
Beck.
I want to give Beck. You got to cut her some slack because she joined a fake band.
Yeah, no.
What she signed up for was not rehearsing all the time.
Yeah.
And turning into a real band.
It's true. It's
you
true.
asked her. You said, "Hey, can you put on these glasses and pretend and take a photo with me?"
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
No. The person who did the photos with me was actually just the dance editor at the magazine.
And
He was a guy, but
he
he
wasn't in the
wasn't
band?
interested in.
He didn't want to
doing
be in the band.
Was he
Yeah.
jealous?
I don't think so. He's like now, he started this concept when we were at the magazine together. He was gay and he started a night called Fag Tag, which was when he would kind of bring his boys to like a regular dance night. Sydney had a huge nightlife. And so you would like fag tag a venue. So like you would fag tag like the Beast and everyone would go. And it became this like massive thing in gay culture, and he ended up making a ton of money, and he like just
Off
went
of a
on to become this.
concept?
Well, he just sort of went on to become like a bit of a
Party
bigwig kind
planner
of thing.
kinda
Like he
dude.
was producing stuff. He started a website. He started a business. He's one of those guys.
That's
So I think
amazing.
he was kind of like. I got my little empire to build here. I'm not going to
Cool.
be part of your fake band. He's a really good friend of mine.
Sure.
But yeah, so I remember in our first gig that we did in Sydney, I invited my parents to come.
And this is your first solo like headlining gig.
We played at at a pub because you would sort
Okay.
of often do that at they would have a pub would have like a stage and bands would play and stuff.
And
And,
where did your parents live?
in Sydney.
In Sydney. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And,
so they're coming to your gig.
They come into the gig, and during the set, and I kind of was like, I wonder how they'll take this. Beck and I like made out during a song.
Yeah.
Like just for effect, I guess.
Yes.
Like just because it was cool.
Did you do that every time, or just because?
Just in that, I think just in that song
you were
for
like,
that thing.
my parents are here. Let's make out this time.
I don't know, but I remember like
Oh
afterwards
my-
being like, "What do you think?" And they're like, yeah, it was good. Like, what was I thinking? It's just like,
Well,
yeah.
at this point, though, do they know that you are bisexual?
Oh yeah. They knew that
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah. I had a girlfriend in university, and they knew her and stuff. So that was used before. So yeah.
Okay, so but they were just like, but
It was
not
just more
part of-
like, this is our daughter. Stranger
Sure.
things have happened.
Right,
Like,
doing a band performance and making out during it.
yeah,
And you sang those lyrics.
We sang that. Yeah, we had like a little set.
Sure.
At first we sort of covered songs, and then we started to write our own, and we sort of did like a dancing thing as well.
Do you have an album?
We had a demo.
You had a demo.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
It's like you pitch around a couple songs.
Yeah, I think
that
we
you
had, like,
pitch around.
I think we kind of had like 6 songs on
You
it.
had,
I want to
an
say,
EP then. You didn't just have a
Pra-
demo.
yeah,
you had an
practically.
EP, I think.
but we didn't we didn't get to that stage where
Right.
it was like packaged as that.
You
and
didn't print them
We
out
didn't sell. We didn't
Right.
sell it or anything.
The
so-
production was so good.
Yeah, the production was good. Yeah.
That
yeah.
I was trying to like place what instruments those were. I was like, what the fuck is that? What kind
Computer.
of synth is that?
It was just all computer design, I think.
right,
Yeah.
but it was like very specific
ding, ding,
sounding.
ding, ding.
Yeah.
Yeah, like bells and shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you're still working at the magazine at this time.
Yeah, so I was still working at the magazine.
So your
at
band's
the
getting
Bragg.
rave reviews.
So I put and I covered the shit out of us. Like
you?
I always had a photographer come to our
this is
gigs.
so funny that you didn't like really put together that this was a big conflict of interest.
No,
This is
it was
wild.
like it was like rock and roll.
Right.
It was the odds. Like our
my
publisher
God.
was this like cowboy who like used to come in with this like dog, and he drove a convertible, and he was like dating it. Like he didn't kind of care,
Sure,
and
right.
so we were definitely like the inmates running the asylum.
Oh,
And
my
so,
God.
And it was like a monthly, like a weekly magazine, and those deadlines are crazy. Like you were just churning out things. There's not a lot of time to like rest and stop and
Right.
look back on things. Like there's just constant momentum forward.
Right.
And also it was something that I guess in a way that kind of predated the rise of something like an Instagram, we realized that party pics really made people pick up the magazine. So like, because if we sent a photographer out to a gig and took a bunch of photos, people would pick up the magazine to try and find themselves, like a IRL Instagram. So we like
wow.
Brilliant.
had to start running like a lot of party pics, which like none of us really wanted to do because like they're just fucking party pics, but
Right.
like that was something that people really liked. And so
Sure.
then we always had lots of photos of us and our friends in the magazine.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
That's fucking amazing.
Were people at the magazine like pissed at you?
That
for-
magazine was crazy. I'll tell you another thing that happened there. One of the other sales chicks, whose look, her name was Lisa. She sold drugs to everyone. Like she sold drugs to us and to people in the office.
What do you mean,
Like
drugs?
coke.
Okay.
And
And she was originally just editor of the drug section of the
she
Yes. And then she's like, I could advertise my drugs in the drug section. I'll give rave reviews to my coke and everyone will fucking buy it. We'll get party pics of us doing coke.
Look,
Lisa's got the best coke. And it's just Lisa with sunglasses on.
Wow.
You've seen it in season 7 of The Wire. And so she sold like kind of like on the down low, but not really like sold drugs to everyone. And then one day we're like there and she doesn't show up. We're like, where's Lisa? Like, you know, where's Lisa?
Yeah,
and her house got raided. And then
By the police?
by the police because she lived with 2 other like she just kind of sold pretty casually, but I
Yes.
think they like were distributing.
Right.
And so, and for some reason, she bought in the video footage of that because they're
Of the
required
raid?
by law to film it. And so, this is such a weird memory, but we all sat around a conference room and watched the raid footage.
Holy
of
shit.
Her house getting
And she was
raided.
on bail
my
at this point or something like that?
I don't know. I don't even remember. But like, it was just one of those things of like, yeah, this is like a weird thing that's happening that also kind of makes sense.
What are drug laws in Australia?
Yeah, I was going to say, they're not super bad anymore, right? Like, they're not crazy.
I mean, she didn't go to jail, so
For selling coke, that's pretty good.
she
Yeah.
didn't go to jail. I don't know about her roommates because she wasn't the one who was like they didn't like bust her, but they busted her roommate. So
Sure.
I'm not sure how much they found, but I think she had like some coke on her nightstand and
Right.
you know like
Yeah.
that kind of thing, which I'm not sure you go to jail for. But I think
Nah.
what like struck me.
It wasn't like she had it bagged up in her room or whatever.
No.
She had just like a couple lines here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's-
And like I expected this raid to be like, "Rah, rah, rah," but it was like really quite eerily quiet and slow. Of
It's
like,
just a polite knock.
yeah, totally, it was, and it was like them going through it methodically, and then these 3 like roommates just standing there as they're like opening up all these
that's
drawers.
almost
And
worse.
Yeah,
They raided my college dorm room.
really.
Cops, yeah.
What were they looking for?
Weed.
Oh,
Did you
Just
guys have
such
anything?
Bullshit. Yeah, we had tons of weed.
And did anyone get arrested?
Yeah, my one friend,
Yeah.
he had a lot of weed.
Yeah.
And so he took blame for all the weed.
oh, that was nice
Yeah.
of him.
Well, he also had like a pound of weed or like
Right.
a quarter pound. I
Yeah.
don't know if I should. Yeah, he had like a lot of weed.
Right.
And I'm gonna get in trouble for a quarter in my drawer.
Yeah.
You know, like I
Yeah.
have $100 worth of weed. He has a few $1,000s worth of weed.
Right.
So he just took blame for everything. I remember they busted in, and I was so high. I was so high, and I'm in the kitchen mixing Crystal Light in a pitcher, and the cops bust in, and they go, "What's happening in here?" And I go, "Oh, hi, I'm just making some iced tea. Do you want some?" And that was the first day back of sophomore year of college.
My buddy got same thing. They raided his dorm, and he had probably I think he had half a pound of weed, but he had, and this was just he happened to have a half pound or quarter pound of mushrooms, and he wasn't normally selling mushrooms. You know what I mean? But he got a felony in college.
That's rough.
Fucking
and you were
brutal.
tried as an adult then as well, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
They have The Economist has a article about Australia, and it's something along the lines of what Australia is doing right or something, or what we could learn from Australia, something along those lines.
What was it?
I didn't read it yet. I just saw the cover.
Jesus.
I was in a waiting room.
That's a pro move. Bring up an article you didn't read.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I'm sure it has to do with drug
Did
laws.
you guys see that thing in the New York Times this week? I didn't either, but it looked like it was pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah,
so real food for thought, you know.
New York Times this week, they printed the name of it right there on the front page. It's fucking crazy.
Crazy. So much news. Some real news happening in that magazine.
But I mean, it looked like it was I could guess what it's probably about.
Yeah, actually, guess what the article was in The Economist.
But it said we could learn stuff, and also famously they have really strict gun laws, and they
that's true.
And
That's
after
true.
I've heard of this.
And
Yeah.
after they implemented them, their fucking violent crimes that involve guns went down so significantly.
And you know what's crazy? You guys have so many wild animals, right?
Yes, that's true.
So you kind of need guns.
No, you do not.
Exactly. But that's what other people would say, is that there might be a threat for you guys because there's so many animals, but then you don't have guns and everyone's fine.
Yeah, you're not going out there shooting a boar. I mean, that's
Are there boars?
I mean, not where I lived, because I lived in the city, but maybe there were boars, maybe not.
See, so I've heard that I need to watch out for spiders and
Spiders.
Well, there's
shit
just a
that.
couple of spiders, but I mean, you'll be in the metropolitan areas, and
Right.
anything these things there's just more nature in nature, but you're going to be in a city, so,
I'm
you'll
good.
be fine.
I'll be fine.
Well,
Yeah.
No, you should look online. There's a couple of spiders that could get you.
But you do have you have to look at what kind. You're okay,
Yeah.
this one,
Funnelbacks,
this pink
redback
one,
spiders.
this pink one is no good.
Don't go for the pig ones. Yeah.
So your friend. I just want to talk about your friend for a little bit. So your friend who was dealing drugs in and around the newspaper.
Yeah, and in the music industry, because we were all pretty entrenched in the music industry. We all knew a lot of people, and that was kind of one of the fun things to go from not really knowing anything or anyone to knowing a lot of bookers and publicists and bands, just knowing the industry. And so, and when you're in sales, your kind of job is to be constantly calling everyone, hey, you want to place an ad? You want to place an ad? And that was sort of part of how it all kind of worked.
Yeah.
It was a sort of relational thing. And of course, the music industry is rife. Well, it was at that time. I'm sure it still is now. Rife with drugs. I remember going to an event on a Tuesday night.
It's actually really clean now. It's cleaned up a lot.
Is that really? Yeah, that's the new under Trump. No one's doing. I remember going to an event on Tuesday night, a random event on Tuesday night, and in every store, someone we're all just doing drugs, and it was just kind of it's kind of what it was like. You know?
Yeah. And then there's a line of other people waiting to do drugs.
Yeah.
And one guy's got to take a shit. Oh my God, I'm fucking killing it today.
Oh my God. You give a mouse a cookie.
You give a dragon a marshmallow.
Oh my God.
So
It could be a book.
first of all, you should change the name of your new book to Dead Girls.
Okay.
But what? So
But that's even more like a murder mystery.
yeah,
That's
but
true.
no murder
Yeah.
mystery is going to use dead twice though.
Oh, because then you're gonna be dead girls mystery, dead girls irony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's two girls who are running this thing.
That's true. Yeah.
Dead girls. But they're not dead. Their ex is dead.
Yeah, that's right.
And then at the end, they figure out how to eat marshmallows.
Yeah, that's what brings them together.
They figure out what was the struggle.
You put it in your mouth.
Oh my God.
And it's true.
Their fingers were getting in the way. They put it in their palms and they
Yeah,
couldn't
it's
get past
I've
it.
been eating it wrong.
I don't know. I'm working on a book that's that.
Okay,
Oh
great.
my God. All right, so so at this time, so you have this EP or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Are you shopping at the labels?
Yeah.
No, we didn't. We just didn't really get that far with it.
Did you go to the studio though and you recorded it?
we went to our friend's home studio. It was kind of like this, like just like a home setup. And then we we sang, and then he produced some tracks for us. And that was another thing where I was like annoyed with Beck, because I was like, we had this great asset. Like he was a producer. His name was Disco, like a remix of disco. And part of his thing was doing like fun, weird remixes of popular tracks. And so I'm like, Disco is like awesome. He likes us. He did it all for free. Like, we didn't pay him anything.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, we should take advantage of this. And she just was never, I mean, in retrospect now, and this is something that I really realized when I moved to New York and started doing Dreamboat improv. Like, I was so used to being like the head of projects and kind of having to whip everyone into shape and like get everyone excited about it and be like, here's the rehearsal, here's the shoot, or here's the whatever, like, you know, just organizing it all. And when I joined or was put onto Dreamboat, one of the first things I kind of realized was like, oh, I'm not like the biggest keen bean here. Like, all of these guys want this as much as I do. Yeah. And I'm not having to like carry them. Like, everyone was like, okay, when are we doing rehearsal? Right, we're doing it now. We're doing a 3-hour rehearsal. Everyone else is doing a 2-hour. We're going to do a 3-hour.
And booking
everyone else
shows,
is like, it was just like, oh, it was so liberating to be with people who were just at your enthusiasm level. It was sort of like, oh, that's how you do it. Like, you collaborate with people that want to do it as much as you.
Right. And we shot sketches to promote our show.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
the game of Georgia sketch was, she's Australian.
Nice.
What was the game of
really
yours?
Unusual.
I'm old.
Oh, that's right.
That was... How old were you then?
It was literally, I was 52 at that time. No, I don't know. I don't know how old I was, but I was, I started older than everybody.
Yeah, well, so did I. Like, because I moved to New York when I was 29, and then this was the UCB was something where people were kind of just doing it in their like early 20s. Like Morgan was a teenager.
Morgan was like so young. And you and Morgan were probably the two that were like, okay, like, you know, this is fun, but like, I'm going to pursue some other stuff, and more successful than anybody else. It's like, okay, improv is cool, but let me just like do something that makes money. Yeah, you guys are killing it. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Who
I'll
else
take
was
that.
on the team?
I'll take that.
Steve Tice, Zach Willis,
Ryan Williams,
Phil Jackson, Ryan Williams,
Jocelyn DeBow.
Wow.
So half of women and men. Is that like
yes?
Yeah.
Is Dreamboat?
Yeah, currently still on a team, which is crazy.
But they never broke you up.
No, I mean, well, it's crazy too. Also playing even with you or playing with anybody on that team, it's just like you just lock in immediately, because we played together so much for such a long time.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like and also when you do that, there's nothing really that's the equivalent of that.
Yeah.
You just know people in a different way.
Yeah, I have really fond memories of that time.
It was so fun. I don't know how we all justified spending that much time doing improv.
Yeah, that's kind of when I was on a house team, and I was cut from that house team, and I just kind of realized
What team?
It was a Kinsey. It was one of the first Lloyd teams when they started the new theatre. And to me, improv was definitely like a hobby that got out of control, because when I moved to New York, I didn't know anyone, I didn't have a job, I didn't like have a visa, I didn't really have anything set up. And so I was definitely kind of like such a blank slate for experience. And I was like, I found the UCB theater, and I'd seen shows and I loved it. And I was like, I'm going to do a one-on-one class. Like, that's a one-on-one improv class. That sounds like fun. I'll just do that. And then I'll, never thought I would do anything more with it. And then I loved it. Like, I just loved the class.
Who's your one-on-one?
Kate Spencer was my one-on-one improv teacher who now co-hosts one of my favorite podcasts, Forever 35.
But this one you like though too.
Yeah. Well, famous one based in LA. So,
Gotcha.
And then I was on 201, and after I was on 201, I was put onto Dreamboat by
Brandon Garner.
Garner.
He formed those classes. He formed the groups out of class.
Yeah,
out of a couple different classes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. I was in one of those classes where he formed a group. Didn't fucking pick me to be in the damn group.
But he'd also
Didn't fucking pick me to be in the damn group. Can you believe that fucking asshole?
I can't. I really can't.
I mean, you don't know.
Let's call him.
Yeah, can you believe that shit?
No, that's wild.
I remember, I was like, and everyone was talking about how they formed the group out of the class. I knew about it.
But honestly, Sebastian, where's that group now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, most of them don't do improv no more.
Yeah. I ended up doing it for so long and just got really into being at the theater, doing shows, seeing shows, and then ended up like at like almost like a professional level as much as you can get. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to be a comedian, and everyone around me wants to be a comedian. Like that's kind of the only people who are putting in this much effort and money and time.
Yeah.
And I kind of was something like, oh, I didn't want to be here. Like, I can't. And like when you're on a house team, you have to like to keep yourself on a team, you have to go to the jams and start putting up spanks. And I was like not doing any of that stuff. And then I got cut.
Particularly on Lloyd Night, because it's like it's easy to cut people on Lloyd Night if you don't know them. I feel like that shit happens. It's like, well, that guy was great, but like probably someone was just like, well, we have to cut up people. You know what I mean?
Or it's just like, I know this person, this person's everyone else.
Right.
Sure. People you find funnier.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, that's true.
You go, I know that person. I like them. And half of comedy is I like that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what's also out of sight, out of mind. Like I know that's like a thing. Like that's why people have to go into fucking. If you have an agent, you got to go pop in the fucking office and be like, "Hey, how's it going? Here's a fucking birthday cake or whatever."
Yeah, I do that mostly every other week. My agent, birthday.
They love to pretend it's their birthday.
Yeah.
They'll never say it's
again.
not.
So you decide not to pursue, like push past this point with the EP, right? Does that like break your heart?
Beck ended up. We stopped being friends.
Wow.
Like there was like one night. It was like a very much a like we broke up as friends. Like and it was one of those nights where it was a night we were meant to go to a gallery opening together or whatever you're doing when you're in your 20s, and then like and she was like
I don't do that shit in my 20s. Well, I sat in basements and snorted pills. No gallery opening. You kidding me?
I'm sure we would have been high as a guy, but like we were going to something. I feel like it was like an art thing, and she was an hour late. Like, and I'm waiting and waiting, and then she just rolls up like nothing happened.
Right.
And I remember like I had.
And this was in Hanoi, right? At the time.
This is in Hanoi, and I was at home, and my very sweet roommate who had just moved in was doing something, and it was one of those things in life when you just actually have like a real crossroads where like my roommate was going out to like a bar to get a drink, and she rolls in, and they're kind of like, and she rolls in just as they're going out. And she's like, you want to go? And I'm like, and I'm just thinking, you didn't even apologize. There's like no text message. And she was kind of pissy with me for something else.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go. I'm going to go get a drink with my roommate. And then we like never spoke again.
And she
was pretty calm.
It was just a very like, this is a toxic friendship. It was kind of like a toxic friendship, even though I really liked her. It's hard when people are like really fun, really crazy. Like you're just like, I want to be around you.
Right.
I'm like, you're just not a good person. You're not good for me. It's over.
That's pretty mature, I think, at that age, because I feel like I didn't figure that out for a really long time.
It took me a long time to figure that out.
Did you? So was that like a common thing where you'd be like, "Oh, I fucking am in this same paradigm again with this person or whatever"? I know that for me, it was like I found myself in that situation where I'm like, "Well, this person's not very nice to me.
Yeah,
maybe I can make them like me or whatever."
Yeah. My mom used to always point out, like, you're always complaining about her. Like, you are always complaining about her. She's late for this. She does this, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, but da 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 da," and it just mother knows best. Mother knows best.
I mean, that is crazy that she left you to go on a 2-month trip by yourself.
Yeah.
And I love that the straw that broke the camel's back was she's an hour late.
I know, right?
That's actually wild.
Like, just, I don't know. How can you explain your thinking in your 20s?
But like at some point, you're like, okay, this is it.
You were already done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And was she that integral to the band that you felt like we can't go on without her?
We tried to. Like, I think we revived it a couple times. But I think after we like broke up and everything, I think the energy kind of went out of it.
Yeah.
So I think maybe I, on some level, knew that. So like the friendship breaking up would also break up the Out project. And, like famously, a lot of bands do not get along personally,
right.
or they create great music together, and there's something almost maybe about that energy that kind of feels it in an unhealthy way.
Yeah. Like they're competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get competitive with each other. Yeah. Like Paul McCartney and John Lennon.
Right.
They used to be really competitive, Sebastian, towards the end. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that. My dad likes the Beatles a lot.
Does he?
Yeah, he liked them a lot.
Jack White and his sister. They used to get really competitive. He used to go on the drums and just try to show her up.
Really?
Absolutely not.
I was gonna
Look,
say.
he's getting back to you for that Netflix shit.
Yeah,
You know what's crazy
yeah.
is I feel like I'm trying to. I don't know what it is, Georgia, about like when I'm hanging around with you, but I'm just trying to make way more jokes than I normally do. Have you
I like
noticed
it.
that?
You're trying to
That's good,
impress
yeah.
me.
It's good. Yeah, no, but it's also like
You are. You're
I
trying to
like I like hanging out with you. You know what I mean?
That's good. So,
So you're just usually sitting there in a real staid kind of like.
I mean, honestly, I'm very serious in this podcast, and I'm usually wearing a fedora.
I was going to say a
my
robe, but
God.
that works.
Yeah.
That works.
I don't know why that's serious. Why is a fedora serious?
it's not. I actually think a fedora is playful.
Okay.
Yeah, a fedora is pretty playful.
Yeah, I think like a top hat serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like a Mexican wrestling mask, but like
Yes, like no
not,
joke.
not funny. Yeah.
Not funny.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about top hats is everybody used to wear a top hat.
Yeah.
And also, they used to wear top hats that were fucking tall. Like, Abraham Lincoln was not an outlier. Like, that was like a status symbol to wear a big fucking stupid tall top hat.
Why hasn't that come back? Like so much of that
will.
shit has come back. Why haven't hipsters started wearing ridiculous top hats?
Because it's crazy.
but
Because
that doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
doesn't matter. You could keep shit in it. It's honestly the equivalent. It could be a man purse.
Right.
You
yeah.
can put a bunch of shit in the
like a
fucking
twisty mustache
Nobody
kind of
kept
thing.
anything in it, though. It was just a
Yes,
big...
that's not true.
Who kept
People
what?
would keep guns in their top hats.
Did they really?
It was
Oh my
very
God.
common.
Really?
Actually, they would have a compartment where they would keep
That doesn't surprise
a
me.
tiny gun
Yeah.
in their top hat.
They had a compartment like up top.
Up top, it was just like a little
A cute little gun.
Yeah, cute. You ever seen Men in Black where he gets the tiny gun and he goes, "This shit's not going to be powerful," and then it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that, except if the gun wasn't powerful.
Right.
It was just like a little nothing.
It's like that if he was right.
Yeah. If all his assumptions were true. Yeah. So top hats, yeah, they are good. You know, you keep shit in them.
I don't know. That seems insane to me. It seems insane that it was mandatory to walk around with a fucking top hat.
Well, lucky you're born in this generation.
I mean, there's no functionality to a top hat, is there? Does it protect you from the sun?
It makes you taller. Yeah, of course it does.
Oh, it makes you talk. Well, it doesn't really protect you from. Let's be honest. Wait, and maybe at noon.
I didn't think that it would. I didn't
At
think the
noon
point
it's-
was that.
At noon, it's only effective at noon.
At
Yeah.
noon, a top hat's crushing.
Game changer. Game changer.
Yeah.
I know. That's why like a hat with the brim is good for like the early morning or late evening.
Yeah.
A top hat you wear in the afternoon.
Right at noon, you throw that sucker
Top
on.
hat for lunch, fucking baseball cap in the morning. That's what I'm talking. Now we're playing with this.
All
now
right.
we're playing with the concept of hats.
Now we're in hat
We're
terms.
I fuck with
Solid
hats.
hat moment.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And so you broke up.
Yeah, we broke up.
Are you still editing the magazine?
So I stopped editing the magazine when I was 25,
Okay.
and it was around that sort of same time. I think actually I
This is
stopped
a
editing
very
the
busy
magazine.
year. Like this is a year we're talking
Yeah,
about.
like there were things happening, and I stopped editing the magazine because I realized that I just wanted to be in the magazine, I wanted to be making myself famous, not
Yeah.
making other people famous, which is
Sure.
sort of like a thing that happens with writers, I think sometimes, is like, because when you're obviously writing, you're like writing about the people, and you're like, actually, I want to be the one they're writing about. And so I sort of started to try and pursue filmmaking and screenwriting, and then spent 5 years trying to do that, and then I moved to New York.
But you were doing that in Sydney for a while.
I was trying to, yeah. I made like a couple of short films, and I wrote TV scripts, but nothing really took off.
I'm also surprised that you got caught up in improv because you're so driven. Usually it's just for schlubs like me.
Sure, you can include me. I know you
You've got to be driven, I think, to do at the level that we did it.
Yeah, no, that's true. And so you were like, I got to get to New York because this is where, I can sell more stuff or I can be more in the industry.
It was more just like I fell in love with the city. Like I came on a trip when I was 29 with my roommate, a couple of her friends, and I traveled around the world and been to like Europe and to Mexico and a few other places, obviously. I can Hanoi of my own.
Sure.
And I came to, but going to New York it's literally on the other side of the planet from Australia, and it seemed like visiting the moon. Like it was just so glamorous and exciting, and of course everyone liked the idea of it, but if you'd never go to the moon,
Right.
And
Yeah.
then my roommate was going, I'm like, I want to come, I'll come to New York. And I just remember so intimidated,
Yeah.
and just didn't really know what to expect. And then as soon as I landed, just had this like visceral excitement. And driving through, I was staying in I was subletting a friend's place in Greenpoint, like a girl I'd met on when I was traveling, and like just driving through like off the freeway into Greenpoint was just like, this is my place. And it was this really revelatory trip where it was a 10-day trip. It was in it was like early September. It was really nice weather,
perfect.
and I had a free sublet, and we just had this dreamy time. Like we like slept in late, and then kind of like had these like long, crazy, wonderful days doing these things and staying out super late. And it was just like, and I would just get home and Google like Visa New York, and I wrote to my parents. I'm like, I am going to move to New York. Like this is what I'm going to do, because I definitely had this feeling that when I was in Sydney that like my life hadn't started yet, and I at the same time kind of knew like this is my life. Like I was in my late 20s. I'm like, this is my life, you know?
Yeah.
And then I sort of went back and was like, I'm going to move to New York. And my parents were like, okay. And then a year and a half later, I did.
Yeah. And that point you were 29.
And I was 29 when I moved here. Yeah.
Wow.
And you don't live far from there now.
Far from
Greenpoint.
No, yeah, I live in South Williamsburg. So I always lived in Greenpoint, Williamsburg area.
Yeah.
I've only ever lived in those areas.
Yeah,
That's
those
cool.
are nice neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Greenpoint is so pretty.
Greenpoint's lovely.
It's so nice, and there's churches, and it's still neighborhoody.
yeah, it was cheap as well, which was
Of
good. 'Cause
course.
I was really broke for a
I
long
used to
time.
work in Greenpoint.
Sebastian's
you?
always complains about how few churches there are in his neighborhood.
There's not a lot of churches. You know what?
Yeah, we know, Sebastian.
But they got
fucking churches. I
They got
love
churches
it.
with steps in Greenpoint.
Right.
That's
By
true,
me, they don't got
do.
no steps on the churches.
Right.
They're just
Yeah.
fucking buildings with a literally a sign on it.
Is a church without steps? Patrick,
Um,
over to you.
well, I mean, where two or more are gathered in Jesus' name, then, that's church.
Wow. Take me to church.
That's what it says. That's what it says.
Does it? Where?
Yeah, Jesus said it.
Oh, right.
He was like, yeah, just two of you can hang out. And
Yeah,
then,
that's a church. We're in church right now,
Just,
kind of.
we're in church. This
Yeah.
is church.
That's awesome.
Not even kind of. This is what he was talking about, I
Well,
think.
who's the other person?
Both of you.
But who? I'm not talking Jesus.
It doesn't matter.
That's it.
The point
I
is,
just fuck me.
That's how he gets you.
It's like the game.
Yeah.
the point being made is, it's just like about, being with people.
That's nice.
I like that.
Isn't that
That's
nice?
nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Because then you go home and you gotta be alone.
Right. And it's kind of, you get kind of bummed out sometimes.
That's the noise of a person who doesn't have to go home and be alone.
I go home to my beautiful.
got engaged recently.
I did. Yeah. I finally put a ring on it.
And how long have you guys been dating?
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are great.
Oh, thanks.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, do you miss your music days?
It was really fun. I'll do the terrible podcast thing of showing you a couple of pictures,
Oh,
which
yes.
like is
Patrick,
no
take
good.
pictures of this
So,
afterwards.
We're going to put this on our Instagram.
But it's on the Instagram. So this was the fake band. So I'm showing these guys like a
Holy
front
shit.
page of the brag.
Oh my God.
And this was our
is
like
fucking amazing.
insert here. So I don't know if this is going to work for the podcast, but you can kind of have a look through our pictures.
Oh, we're definitely
Wow.
putting this on the
Yeah,
holy
we'll put
shit.
that on.
This is so great. And
That's
is that,
so cool.
That's you and is that Beck?
That's me and Tim.
You and Tim.
So Tim was the dance editor when it was like still a fake band.
So
Yeah.
that's like the start.
This is the fake band.
So you led with front page.
yeah.
You were on the front page first?
Yeah, we were on the front
Did you
page.
have fans?
Oh, I didn't think so. I mean,
But weren't people writing in like, who the fuck is this?
I don't know. There wasn't like this was before the internet, so there wasn't actually a lot of
You couldn't verify
communication
Sure.
between anyone. You
so
know
you
what I
could
mean?
say anything.
But then this was like that one of our first gigs.
Wow.
And I'm in a very skimpy dress, wearing sunglasses on stage because sunglasses at night was the coolest thing that any of us could imagine.
Yeah.
Go to our Instagram at Who You Were podcast, and we're gonna have this picture.
Why
This
is
is
it-
these are great.
This is
Oh
when
my
we were
God.
headlining a show that we put on.
This is
We
fucking
threw some
awesome.
parties. And I mean, if you knew these bands, they were very cool. That's me. I used to wear this cool bikini top with like a t-shirt over the top where you could see my boobs, basically. And
That's popular now again.
yeah.
yeah, you kind of started that.
And I'll finish. These were our press shots that we did like a photo shoot. So that's like baby Georgie. I was like 24, I guess.
Your hair was shorter.
I had short hair in my 20s.
These are
See?
great.
Yeah. So
And wait, is
set list.
that
that's Beck.
that's Beck?
Yeah.
That's the infamous Beck. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh
and
my
who's the
God.
guy with blood dripping
That's
out
Peter.
of his mouth?
That's the guy
That's
that.
Peter?
Yeah, we thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And he's producing, right?
He produced it all.
Does he have pink eye?
No, I think we put makeup on.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
Yeah.
Or does he just have a big sty?
Part of his image is he's always got pink eye.
That's actually really funny.
Do you have is this like the only time of your life that you have like a book, like a scrapbook?
No, I actually kept
You're into them.
scrapbooks. I kept scrapbooks for a lot of my younger times. Like the other story I was maybe going to get into, which we don't have to get into now, but like I was a student activist, and so I kind of went from being like a pretty straight teen, not political, when I was growing up, into being like a kind of blue-haired, body-pierced, screen print your own t-shirts, like far left-wing, like revolutionary activist. And so like I have like a lot of photos from that time.
What were some of your issues that you were like, I'm pushing for this?
So one of the issues I remember, like one of the issues that first the student movement was organizing around was voluntary student unionism. And voluntary student unionism meant that you would choose if you were in or out of the student union, which would essentially decimate the student union, because like what student is going to like if you've got to tick a form, like do you want to spend money on joining a union? I was going to say no, I don't even know what that is. But the student union like organized to protect students' rights. So we were trying to stop VSU, voluntary student unionism, was like on a student level. But there was a lot of environmental issues. Like there was a very unpopular mine called Jabiluka Mine, which was on Aboriginal land, which all of Australia is Indigenous land, but it was like on particular Indigenous land. And so there's a lot of like anti-mining kind of environmental stuff. And then within different women's issues, there was like, I was the women's officer for a year. And so there was like a lot of feminist issues, and I was a queer officer, sort of queer issues. So we were there was a lot of like, and the student education movement was pretty strong as well. Like, it was like if there was a rally, I was at it.
Yeah.
If it was a left-wing cause, I was going to be there.
Yeah.
You got a lot of drive.
I do have a lot of drive.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I do.
I mean, the amount of books that you put out in just a short amount, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I'm sort of like a little robot.
What gives you the drive?
I don't know. My parents both had pretty good work ethics. So I sort of grew up with people that were sort of like my father was an electrical engineer by day and a musician by night, and very sort of dedicated to his music practice, and still is. Like he's retired now, he's in his 70s, but he still like plays guitar every day, and he like is in a choir, and he plays music with other people. He's just kind of like my parents are not sort of really rest on their laurels sort of people.
Do you think when he saw your band, he was like, this isn't music?
I don't know what he thought. I just
Oh my
can't
God.
even begin.
This
You should ask
isn't-
him at
what
the
did he
wedding. You
say?
can ask
I'm
him.
gonna ask him at the wedding. What do you think of those synthesizers?
Does he
Yeah.
play classical guitar or some shit?
He plays, yeah. I guess it would be like
All right,
classical
don't say
guitar.
classic rock because I'm going to fucking lose my shit. Do you remember where we shot those sketches up at City College? That's where I went to school.
Yeah, I do.
So when I started to go there because I wanted to be a performer, and then I wound up working as an engineer. So I have like a similar situation where I was like, I don't want to be an engineer. And I started fucking working for all these people, and I was like, I want to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so I totally understand. I totally identify with that. It's like, I'm not this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that most people just start and keep going. You know, you sort of, and also you can try something out and realize like, I don't actually like the practice of doing this every day.
Yeah.
Like, I like doing this, but I don't want to do it as my career.
Yeah.
Sure.
Totally.
Yeah. I went to school for electrical engineering.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I hated
cool.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty dry.
Yeah, it was fucking dry, and like, oh my God, I hated it. Everyone was so uncomfortable. I don't think I'm not so comfortable in my skin, but like I literally couldn't stand how awkward everyone was.
Yeah, engineers are not known for
Tap dancing. And
tap
shit like
dancing and
No, even just like conversations. I like to
Yeah,
chit chat.
yeah.
That. Oh yeah,
I like
yeah.
the bullshit.
So,
And
so you got into improv where everybody's such a good conversation.
you know what? I thought that they would be, but no,
think that's true.
No,
People are
it's
fucking
not.
weirdos.
Is it?
It's a bunch of freaks,
People are have their head down, looking at the ground. Then they get on stage and they're like, make a joke.
and I'm turning into that slowly.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I
No,
think
you're fucking
Someone
not.
told me I was quiet the other day.
Well, I think like that's like different. Like being standoffish is different from being unable to socialize.
You're saying I'm standoffish?
you're
I'm
not.
fucking standoffish. I tell you.
Neither of you guys as standoffish.
But you know me, and I like you, and I know you. You know what I
Right.
mean? If I'm in a situation where I don't know people, like at your wedding, I'm going to be in the corner.
Oh my
I'm
god.
just kidding. Georgia, thank you so much for coming
Oh,
and doing
what a
this.
pleasure.
It's
This has
always
been
wonderful
great.
to see you. And
Yeah.
I'm going to take pictures of your pictures.
Take pictures of my pictures.
And then I'm also going to maybe take some pictures of your books.
Yeah, great.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And at some point, will you hire me and Sebastian to do something?
Yes, absolutely.
For
No,
a job?
you don't have to hire
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Just hire Patrick. Hire him twice.
Yeah. What do you want me to hire
You
you
want
to
to
do?
get hired?
I do, but I don't want to put
What
that
do you
on
want to
her.
be hired to do?
Do punch-ups. I want to do punch-ups.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
I
I
don't
don't
know if I
wanna
can
do
pay
that.
you to do that.
No. I mean, but eventually, like when you're killing it.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
killing
yeah.
it, but you know what
Yeah,
I mean.
yeah.
When
I'm
you
still
option
broke,
film,
unfortunately.
when there's 15
Sure.
film options
Yeah,
going on. You know what I mean?
Isn't
Yeah, your
that
contracts
crazy
are
that
good.
you're a public? You just said you're still broke,
I am,
but
I
you
am.
literally are an author. You're
Yeah,
like
it's one of the reasons why I'm broke, because being an author does not make you a lot of money.
Yeah.
So just
That's
take
wild.
that home with your kids.
Question: Kindle's good for you or bad for you?
I think anything that gets people reading is good. So I'd say good. I'm
Anything that
going to
gets
say
people-
good.
But it's cheaper. Then your books are cheaper.
I don't think it doesn't really matter.
How about an iPad? Question. iPad or iPad
Audiobook.
Audiobook.
Do you do audiobook?
Yeah. I don't read them. But
You don't read them. Do you wanna read them?
You know what? I'm going to ask if I can read the next
should
one.
totally read
I'd
them.
like to.
Do you
I
think
love
your
when the author
Australian
reads
accent's gonna throw the book off?
I don't know.
Are you gonna do a southern accent for the southern woman?
Well, I don't know. I will practice that.
Oh my god!
Stay tuned for that audiobook.
That's
do you want to
awesome.
plug anything?
Just my website is georgiaclark.com. So
Nice. Go to the website.
Sign up for our email list because it's amazing how, like, when I get updates, I'm like, Georgia's doing so much.
yeah, I do a monthly newsletter. I just sent one out today.
Whoa.
Yeah, congrats on everything.
Thank you.
Are you
And-
good with grammar?
I'm okay with grammar.
Cool. Is that big for an author to be good with grammar?
No, they copy edit your work. Thank God.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have Grammarly?
What's more important, a
I have
Kindle or
used it.
grammar?
Shut up. Do you use Grammarly?
I have used it.
Cool. Do you pay for it or use the free
I
one?
use the free one.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I'm a cheapskate.
Sure.
Sebastian's just making sure he's using the same tools as a publisher. Do you want to plug anything? Did we just,
No, her
just your
website,
website?
right?
Just your
The
website.
website's good, and
Okay.
then
Buy the regulars.
buy the regulars. Yeah, buy my books.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and check out at Who You Were podcast on Twitter and Instagram, and we're gonna have pics. And I'm Patrick Noth on Twitter, Patrick Noth with 0 on Instagram. If you like the podcast and you want to support it, go to patreon.com/Patrick Noth. Give me like $1 a month because it's, it takes time to do this kind of stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Lindsay Bonell, our fucking wonderful producer who saved our life.
Yeah, that's the reason why we're still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't spell. I don't have good grammar. I'm actually very embarrassed about it.
He can't write emails to invite people, or he's got to have Grammarly. No, I'm just fucking with you.
No, I'm just embarrassed about my grammar. So it's like,
Yeah, me too.
I'm 29 years old, and I'm like ashamed that I have to like Google words.
Well, at least you Google them. Like you're checking it out.
I am.
That's
Thanks.
so bad. Also, when you can't spell it, like spell check doesn't even know what the fuck's going on. And then
it breaks my heart. You know how you beat that system? You just make it a capital letter in the front, and then they think that you talk about something specific.
Right.
If you make every word capitals,
hack.
yeah.
This is a hack.
I Google
Life
it.
hack. You're
Life hack.
always capital, and then Google goes, "You're right."
But no, but I'm saying like then I have to Google it.
Okay.
But Google works because there's enough idiots like me who are putting in the phonetical spelling
Yes.
of some word. All right. Can we keep talking about Google and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
come on, get out of here,
We
bro.
love you guys so much. Thank
All
you
right,
for
peace.
listening.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Who You Were. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Guest before and after pics on Instagram at Who You Were Podcast. Send your before and after pics to whouywherepodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at Who You Were Podcast. This podcast is produced independently. If you'd like to support it, please visit patreon.com/Patrick Noth. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.